A reminder, the news doesn't end here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m.
Newly released 911 calls reveal the passenger panic in the moments after the light rail stabbing on December 5th. Coming up, what these calls reveal about the chaotic scene.
And we now know that the former co-owner of Sycamore Brewing used Snapchat to communicate with the 13-year-old girl he's accused of raping.
The way things play out can be extremely impactful to a child.
What experts say parents need to know about the case and how to protect their kids. And the question we ask every year, will Charlotte have a white Christmas?
We have got that answer and why a white Christmas is so rare. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, taking you out on the roads now. We're looking at a new crash on I-85 South at Bruton Smith Boulevard. You can actually see some of those emergency vehicles heading to that crash now, and it is very slow moving. So we're starting to see backups already begin, but this will likely become a bigger issue, especially as we enter the 7 o'clock hour. In addition, 85 still a problem spot over towards Gaston County. We do still have that active crash on those northbound lanes at Cox Road.
Going to be 50 degrees on Monday, and then after that you don't see this in view. We're talking about temperatures in the upper 60s Christmas Eve, mid 60s on Christmas Day. So yeah, we are going to have to dream maybe another year for a white Christmas. Only rain chance we have is Thursday. We're expecting constant pulses of rain starting out as early as sunrise tomorrow, and then after that we should be dry for the rest of the week.
I'm fine with that Carolina
I'm
Christmas.
Good. Right?
Fine with that.
Yeah, that's right. At least it's not like 34 and rainy.
Right?
Like, you know.
That would be miserable.
Right. All right. Join us over at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus. Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check of your forecast on this Wednesday. And again, the first 2 days this week, quite cold. So this morning, not as bad, actually, Chris.
It is so nice to see 35 degrees, and it was a couple of weeks ago we wouldn't have said that by any stretch of the imagination. But this is a really interesting temperature map. Well, I think it is, because something is happening in the mountains that usually doesn't happen. They are significantly warmer than a good portion of the area. That's because you had the clouds arrive first. Whenever you have a cloudy night, that doesn't really allow the temperatures to cool down that much because it traps the heat, and that's exactly what's been happening there. Meanwhile, some of the valley areas like Lincoln did drop down to 24 degrees, 33 around Gastonia, 34 in Rock Hill, so temperatures are all over the place. That cloudier sky, especially thick the further southwest you go, right around Atlanta, that will eventually lead to some overcast skies. But if you look to the west, it's this little pocket right here that I think is likely going to lead to a little bit more sunshine during the afternoon. So as you're heading out the door today, no problemo. Expect temperatures to soar, to zoom and up and over that 40-degree point before you know it. And then I think eventually it will turn more of the overcast variety once you conclude the rest of this morning up to 49 degrees by about 11 a.m. And all in all, our weather words for today, it's a cloudier sky, still a bit warmer, around 60 degrees, and rain for tomorrow. And that is my main focal point of this forecast going forward. That rain is going to be on and off heavy through the course of your Thursday. So let's roll tape. Here's what it looks like on our futurecast. For one, here's the break I'm talking about. This is 2 p.m. So I think early to mid-afternoon is our best chance for a little bit more sunshine. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed going to be blue skies like we had yesterday. Just a little bit more blue sky than, say, some of those thicker clouds. Then eventually it turns overcast through the overnight. That's going to keep things very mild, either side of 40 degrees for our morning low. Some in the upper 30s, some in the lower 40s. And then once you get to around sunrise, that's our first round of rain. And when I say round, that is a good way to put it. We have pulses and rounds of rain constantly on and off throughout the day. So this is not a washout. From sunrise to sunset, you're not going to have all rain, but at times you could have rain for several hours. Here's what it looks like by about 1 o'clock. We're seeing on and off light to moderate rain, some breaks in between here. The heaviest rain really looks to arrive the middle of the afternoon heading into the evening. And at one point during the evening, I think it could rain for several hours. Overnight, heading into your Friday, the back edge of this will have one final passage of rain, which will even allow for a little bit of snow up in the North Carolina mountains, allowing for sunshine and winds to pick up on your Friday. So I'll bring us to our 7-day forecast, showing that we will see a little bit of a cool down before we see a warm up, and that's 63 degrees on Sunday. My pick of the week, the warmest day that I have so far, but not the warmest day over the next 10. I'll have that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day forecast coming up here shortly, but first we have a treat here on WCNC Plus. Becca's joining us.
All right, good to be here. Not so good tracking this crash. This is going to be in the University area near Cabarrus County, I-85 and I-485. We do have a crash on those southbound lanes. You can see those flashing lights. There is a heavy emergency vehicle present. So right now we know at least one lane of traffic is blocked off, and it is very slow moving, not impacting those northbound lanes, just the southbound lanes. Seeing delays extend now to about 3.5 miles. So if you're coming from Salisbury or Cabarrus County inbound in Mecklenburg County, this will impact you. In addition, 85 still a problem spot in Gaston County, impacting those northbound lanes. Active crash at Cox Road, blocking just one lane of traffic. Right now, seeing some red, especially if you're traveling from York inbound into Mecklenburg County. And looking at this crash, it's going to be north of 85, right at Freedom Drive at Cheshire Avenue.
Newly released 911 calls shedding light on this month's light rail stabbing in Noda. Police arrested this man right here, Oscar Salarzano, for that December 5th attack along North Brevard Street and East 25th. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live there this morning, detailing the moments frightened passengers called for help. What are we learning from these 911 calls, Destiny?
Yeah, these calls really reveal the panic that was inside that light rail just moments after the stabbing. You can also hear passengers' desperate efforts to keep the victim alive. Now, again, in these calls, you hear passengers describing a chaotic scene as they try to help 24-year-old Kenyon Doby, who had just been stabbed in the chest. Callers tell dispatchers they are applying pressure to stop the bleeding and doing their best not to move him. They described Dobie as dizzy and disoriented, but still talking, with one caller staying on the line for several minutes, repeatedly telling him to stay awake. Take a listen.
Stay up, 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 stay up. Yeah. Ma'am, is the knife still in him? No, there's no knife in him, but he's like, you know. Okay. And is the blood coming disoriented at the moment? That's okay. Is the blood coming through his jacket? Stay still. Stay still. It could be, but again, we got a rag and like a jacket applying pressure. Okay. Is the blood coming through that rag? I can't see the rag. I got something else on top of the rag. Hey, stay with me.
The stabbing suspect, Oscar Solorzano, is now facing charges in Mecklenburg County and federal court. That was just one of several 911 clips that we're still reviewing, and we'll be sure to release more information once we get it. I'll send it back to you guys live here in NODA.
Yeah, and to that point, Destiny, do we hear anything about Solorzano, the suspect? Do we hear anything about him on any of these calls?
Yeah, so there was one other clip. You can kind of hear, again, it's a lot of chaos happening. Passengers very focused on the victim, but you can hear the dispatcher asking, is the assailant still there? And someone says, no, he left the train car. So we know from police telling us that he fled the scene, and that's definitely apparent in these calls that he left, but he is obviously in custody and now facing those charges. So they were trying their best to speak with the people that were obviously very distraught on scene, but again, very focused, a lot of these clips focusing on them just trying to get help for the victim himself.
And understandably so. All right, Destiny Richards reporting live for us in NODA. Destiny, thank you. And you'll remember authorities say Solorzano, the suspect, was in the country illegally and had been previously deported. We spoke with Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden here on WCNC Plus yesterday. We asked who's responsible for allowing Solorzano to be in the country and carry out the attack he's accused of.
DHS, Homeland Security, should be held accountable. This is what they done. This is when they deported him twice, they allowed him to leave the United States without being adjudicated for the current charges that he was charged with. They deported him. This is a failure in the system. Now, they probably will try to correct it now by criminally charging him, but that's a failure in their system. So simply coming together with law enforcement, having these conversations, allowing us in law enforcement to show you some of these gaps would be helpful.
You can catch that full interview with the sheriff right here on WCNC Plus.
7:08 now. This morning, all 12 firefighters who were injured in a home explosion in Salisbury are now out of the hospital. Authorities are trying to figure out how that home they were responding to caught fire and what caused the blast. Neighbors told us bricks flew into their homes and the sound was deafening. That left 2 people inside the home injured, 2 dogs dead. The family is being assisted by the Red Cross. This morning, CMPD is looking into what caused the death of a young person in East Charlotte. Investigators say they responded to a call for service on Gwen Hill Road yesterday morning. That's by Harrisburg and Albemarle Roads. When police arrived, they found a minor who wasn't breathing. That person died at the hospital. If you know anything about the death, call Crime Stoppers.
A man has learned his fate for a 2023 road rage shooting in East Charlotte. 26-year-old Jacob Zazeski was found guilty of multiple charges, including assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. Prosecutors say he got out of his vehicle at a red light and shot into another car, hitting the person inside 5 times. That person did recover. Zazeski will spend more than 5 years in prison. The Morrisville police chief is calling out the Department of Juvenile Justice for releasing a 17-year-old who he says was involved in a gang-related shooting. Police say nearly 20 bullets were fired inside an apartment complex, but the teen responsible was not placed into what's called a secure custody hold. The police chief says it's evidence of a broken justice system.
They just let him come back here because according to them, it didn't meet their criteria. Well, if 19 shots in an area like this that you can see does not rise to their criteria, I'd like to know what their criteria is.
The Department of Juvenile Justice says secure custody decisions are based on public safety and that the charge is at hand, which can be revisited if new information comes in.
This morning, education leaders in North Carolina are raising concerns after a new report ranked the state near the bottom nationwide for public school funding. The Education Law Center gave North Carolina failing grades in 2 of 3 fair funding measures. The report shows the state spends about $5,600 less per student than the national average. North Carolina earned a C for directing more money to districts with higher levels of student poverty. In Union County, you can now apply for a school choice for the 2026-2027 school year. There's a lottery for certain schools across the district that still have room. The district decides which schools are available, and if your child is accepted, they can stay through that school's final grade. Applications are open until February 13th.
Take a look at this. Christmas came early for one CMS principal. The district surprising Tuckasegee Elementary School Principal Latricia Wilson, naming her the Wells Fargo, North Carolina Regional 2026 Principal of the Year. Wilson says she's honored and grateful for the recognition and that she has the opportunity to pour into the community she grew up in.
When I just think of how much Tuckasegee Elementary has accomplished in the past 2 years, it just makes my heart happy. We are changing lives, we're just changing trajectories, and we're doing it fast. And so it just means so much to be acknowledged for something that I feel that I'm just called to do.
Wilson now advances to the next phase where she'll compete for State Principal of the Year.
House Republicans set to vote today on another plan to lower health care costs. But with divisions in the party and no deal yet to extend the ACA subsidies, could the premiums soon rise for Americans?
And as we head to break, if you're looking to get in the holiday spirit, we are here for you. Every weekday this week, starting at 9:30, we're going to be streaming Christmas parades around the Piedmont on WCNC Plus. That's just the beginning. Through the rest of the year, you can catch all of our holiday events anytime inside the WCNC Plus app. We've also just added a Yule log on demand. You can find it in the search tool on WCNC Plus. $7:14 right now on WCNC Plus. The Air Force buying 2 Boeing planes for $400 million from German carrier Lufthansa to support its future Air Force One program. They'll be used for training and spares as the Air Force prepares to replace the current Air Force One fleet. The move comes after the Air Force previously announced they expect the first 2 Boeing 747-8 aircrafts that are slated for use as Air Force One won't be delivered until probably mid-2028. Both of these planes expected to be delivered before the end of 2026.
President Trump is preparing to speak to the nation tonight. The White House press secretary says Mr. Trump will focus on his accomplishments of this year. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest as lawmakers scramble over a key challenge left unaddressed: rising health care costs.
This morning, growing anxiety over a looming spike in healthcare costs, with House Republican leadership opting not to vote on extending Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire in 2 weeks after failing to reach agreement with GOP moderates.
We're all trying to solve very complicated questions and challenges, and sometimes there's frustration with the process.
Among those moderates,
I think it's idiotic not to have an up or down vote on this issue.
Congressman Mike Lawler of New York, who called it political malpractice to not vote on extending the subsidies with conservative reforms.
3/4 of people on Obamacare are in states Donald Trump won. So maybe, just maybe, everybody should look at this and say, how do we actually fix the healthcare system?
Democrats want a 3-year extension of the COVID-era subsidies to keep premium costs from doubling for some 20 million Americans. But Republicans argue the subsidies are too expensive, and they don't want to pour more money into what they see as a broken system. Instead, the House is set to vote today on a separate plan of GOP-backed provisions aimed at reducing health care costs for all Americans. The Senate's top Republican acknowledging relief won't come before the subsidies expire.
I do think there's a potential pathway in January if Democrats are willing to come to the table on things that actually will drive down the cost of health care.
Moderate Republicans could offer an amendment in today's vote to extend the subsidies or join a Democratic push to force a vote, though both are a long shot. These subsidies were Democrats' central sticking point in the recent government shutdown, and they now plan to hold rising health care costs over Republicans in the coming midterms, part of a broader debate over affordability that President Trump will likely speak to in a primetime address to the nation tonight. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
President Trump hosted a Hanukkah reception at the White House last night, the event marking the third night of the Jewish Festival of Lights.
President Trump delivered remarks in the East Room, extending greetings to the Jewish community in the U.S. and around the world, and offering prayers to the people of Australia following the anti-Semitic terror attack at Bondi Beach on Sunday.
Let me take a moment to send the love and prayers to our entire nation, to the people of Australia, and especially all those affected by the horrific and anti-Semitic terrorist attack. And that's exactly what it is, anti-Semitic.
In his remarks, the president mentioned how Jewish people are, quote, protected and special people.
This week, the Trump administration adding 20 more countries to its list with travel restrictions. That includes Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, and Syria. President Trump signed a proclamation to fully or partially suspend entry for nationals from a total of 39 countries into the U.S. Previous lists included 19 countries. White House said the listed countries demonstrate severe deficiencies in screening, vetting, and information sharing. Proclamation also applies travel limitations on individuals holding Palestinian Authority-issued travel documents. Muhammad Ali, known simply as the Greatest, is being honored with 2 new postage stamps. They'll debut January 15th, featuring the boxing legend who once joked a stamp was the only way he'd ever get licked. Ali was a 3-time heavyweight champ who also fought for peace and humanitarian causes. Customers can pre-order the stamps now through the Postal Service's website.
Clouds have already moved in so far for this morning. That eventually is going to be a precursor for incoming rain. But that rain and that main system is still about 1,000 miles away. It's going to be cruising through. I'll tell you how that's going to impact your Thursday and any lingering effects we have heading into the weekend. Welcome back, everyone. You can see those clouds have now rolled in, and here's the deal for today. Yeah, it's cloudier, but it's still going to be a decent one. You're still seeing some beautiful oranges and yellows across the horizon as that sun is officially rising up about 5 minutes from now. But we are still going to see some blue sky intermittently throughout the day. Just times it will look cloudier than others. So your new now and next. What's new is, I think the biggest change I've seen from yesterday is that rain looks to be a little bit heavier and a little bit widespread. And I also think that it is going to be a little bit windier on Friday than what we were looking at. And right now we're just seeing clouds increase for what overall is a mild day, still above average, back to around 60 degrees. And the next thing we have to look at besides that rain, we have the warmest day of the week and of the month coming this Sunday. Here's what's happening on our surface map. I'm going to roll it save. Here's that cold front that's going to drive in, and that's eventually going to push in a lot of that surging wind out of the south and southwest, driving in moisture in a big area of rain. This eventually could provide a decent amount of snow. Lake effect snow machines turned on for Lake Michigan, and the backside of this could provide a little bit of snow for the North Carolina mountains. And then outside of that, we're really going to cool down for about a 24 to 36 hour period, but still not too bad. But your Friday, one thing that we really haven't mentioned, is going to be a windy day. But since it's behind a cold front, that's a colder wind. So those stronger gusts getting up to 25 to 30 miles per hour means larger branches are in motion. Not great for umbrellas, but luckily you don't need it for that day. And then beyond this system, by the time you get to day 6, that's December 23rd, so Tuesday of next week, we have a solid shot across much of the continental United States for above average temperatures. The only exception might be New England, dealing with a slightly below normal temperature. So that means White Christmas is not looking to be favorable whatsoever. Instead, we have a little bit of a drop. Drier front pushes through on Monday of 50 degrees. But then look at this. Christmas Eve, 67, 65 for Christmas Day, and even the upper 60s again for December 26th. Yeah. No White Christmas this year, but hey, we'll take a warmer Christmas. That's not too bad. It could be a whole lot worse. Let's see if our commute is any worse from the last time Becca was talking about it. Coming up right now. Sorry.
Right. Seeing some improvement with that earlier crash that was in Cabarrus County. This is I-85 at I-485 impacting those southbound lanes. Want to also mention that this is in northeast Charlotte. So right now, one lane of traffic is blocked off, but most of that activity is in the median there. So yes, this is slowing down traffic quite a bit, even though one lane has reopened there. Right now, delays extending over 5 miles. If you're headed from Poplar Tint down into the Charlotte area, this is going to be causing quite the nightmare situation if you do have to get to work or school. Best workaround, take Concord Parkway, which is currently in the green. We'll still add some extra minutes to that morning commute, but not nearly as bad as waiting in that traffic. In addition, Gaston County still have this one, I-85 northbound at Cox Road.
Good morning, good to see you. Check this out. Yeah, we're dealing with some more upper level clouds, but still a pretty decent day. At times it will look a little bit cloudier than others. Sorry, our background looks like a broken regular Nintendo. There it is, but a beautiful sky that you're seeing up here around Banner Elk. Loving that. So beautiful start to the day, but it's actually warmer in the mountains where we've had otherwise more cloud cover. 35 degrees right now around Charlotte and 28 in Hickory. We'll have a high right around 60 degrees today, and on and off clouds, but we will have a little break in the clouds really early to mid-afternoon before we cloud things up yet again. That's going to lead to our next chance for rain, and that really arrives during your Thursday morning. Thursday morning, we start to see our first pulse of a few showers, and it will be heavy at times, but I think especially by the afternoon, widespread rain taking over, continuing through the evening. 70 forecast brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center, keeps us in the upper 50s. Warmest day Sunday, which is also the first day of winter. Let's get over to Becca, who's with us for a morning commute.
All right, the biggest slowdown out there is going to be on the Cabarrus-Mecklenburg County line. This is I-85 southbound just before you hit I-45. Currently, one lane of traffic is blocked off, and this is causing a stretch of growing delays now past 5 miles. You do not want to take I-85 south. Take Concord Parkway instead. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30 on this Wednesday morning. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. New details now of the rape case against the now former co-owner of one of Charlotte's biggest breweries.
Investigators say Justin Brigham, who founded Sycamore Brewing, used Snapchat to communicate with the 13-year-old girl he's accused of raping. This story highlights a difficult topic. A psychologist tells WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley it's important to know how children process trauma.
Business has been slow here at Sycamore Brewing ever since the news broke about now former co-owner Justin Brigham, who's accused of raping a child. Psychologists say these incidents can have psychological impacts on children.
Watch your surroundings, don't talk to strangers.
Diana McCalla, a grandmother of two, fears for the well-being of the 13-year-old authorities say Brigham raped last week.
I could just imagine the fear, it's like they'd be scared to go to talk to people.
In this situation, everybody needs therapy, and possibly it may have to occur for a while.
Clinical counselor and health psychologist Nanette Funderburk says the impacts of sexual abuse can be different for every person.
Age absolutely makes a difference because there is incomplete brain development there. The perception of things and the way things play out can be extremely impactful to a child.
Funderburk says sexual abuse can also cause children to struggle in school or relationships. She says it's important for parents to know what steps to take to prevent their children from becoming victims.
You can let your children know if you feel uncomfortable in a situation, let me know or let a responsible adult know immediately. And you may even want to come up with a code word.
Funderburk says it's also important for children to know that their parents are going to believe them if they tell an adult they were sexually abused.
And I was a bus driver, years ago, and it did happen to one of the girls, and she just wouldn't open up at all.
And Funderburk says other psychological impacts include PTSD, trust issues, and changes in behavior. In South End, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
Meanwhile, bars and restaurants across the Carolinas continue to grapple with how to move forward with their partnerships with Sycamore. Some have pulled the products from their shelves, while others say they are redirecting money they make from Sycamore product sales. Some have told us they will donate proceeds to nonprofits that help those who've experienced sexual assault.
So we're really proud to be able to offer these services to survivors absolutely for free, and understanding that with the donations from the community that they are supporting survivors being able to heal through their efforts.
Nonprofits tell us every dollar makes a difference, helping them expand services and reach more people.
The medical examiner revealing more about the death of an inmate found unresponsive at the Mecklenburg County Jail last month. An autopsy report reveals the 51-year-old Sandy Hill died of natural causes. We first reported last month Hill was discovered on November 1st. Authorities say they took her to the hospital where she died. Bond now set for a Gastonia woman accused in a deadly hit and run. 36-year-old Laketta English made her first court appearance Tuesday. She's charged in an October crash on Garrison Boulevard that killed 30-year-old Cody Cochran and injured another. A judge set her bond at $500,000. Prosecutors say that high bond is justified because she hit her vehicle and tried to fix it after the crash.
Shortly after the collision, she booked an appointment with Safelite Auto Glass to replace a front windshield. That had taken place prior to the Gastonia police getting to the car.
This is an active investigation. If you have any additional information, contact Gastonia Police. Folks in Concord reflecting on a somber milestone. It's now been 5 years since a police officer was killed in a shooting near Concord Mills. The police department honoring Officer Jason Shuping yesterday. They said on Facebook they will never forget his service. He was just 25 years old.
Let's get to it. Yesterday at this point, 28 degrees. We are 35 right now as of 7:34, so a much warmer start by about 7 degrees. And that is an understatement depending where you are, where your sensor's back in action for you in Boone, but 42 degrees right now, 45 in Jefferson. Jefferson, you were around freezing at this point. So otherwise it's been warmer because we actually have two things at play. Not only is it clouds, we also have something that's called warm air advection. That just means the transport of some warmer air. And oftentimes that can make it feel almost warmer on the mountaintops than the base. A lot of times for skiers. This is one of my favorite conditions whenever that happens. 27 degrees right around Statesville, and then the coldest spot I'm seeing right now is Lincolnton. You're at 24. Maybe going on a morning run like this guy, terrible form, but you know what? Keep it up, buddy. You're looking at temperatures in the mid to the upper 40s. By the way, that was me. I was not making fun of a poor little icon there. Just want to let you know that's a cloudy sky by the end of this morning, and then we will pick up a little bit of sunshine on and off throughout the day. But yeah, we have more clouds all in all, but at times it could look a little bit more overcast, but still going to be allowing some sunshine to peer in from time to time, especially during the afternoon, less so late morning. 59 degrees, that's the high that I have right around Charlotte, but honestly, I think some of us are going to be barely popping up to that 60-degree point, so it's got a range of really 59 to 62 along the I-85 corridor in areas down to the south. And then our next chance for rain, it's coming tomorrow. And it's not just a chance or a likelihood, it's gonna rain at some point on your Thursday evening, and Thursday night. This is the only day that stands out from all of the rest of the days on that 7 to even 10-day forecast. So today, a cloud cover that's going to be broken, especially during the afternoon, will turn overcast through the overnight. And then by around sunrise tomorrow, we're seeing a little bit of rain that starts to work in. I think it's very spotty, isolated at first, and then it starts to become scattered by the middle of the morning. And then that's round one. Then we have pulse number 2 that works its way more so during the afternoon. This is a really tough day to say, hey, it's going to rain from this hour to this hour. It's going to be dry from this hour to this hour. Just expect on and off rain through the entirety of the day. I think especially by the late afternoon and the evening, once it starts raining, it might not stop. This shows rain in Charlotte pretty much from about 4 o'clock until at least 9 p.m. and it could even go later than that. And then the backside of this will be the actual cold front. That's eventually going to shift the winds, which cools us down throughout the day. It will also create a windier Friday. Keep that in mind. Next time you see them, I'm going to show you the wind chills and how it actually is going to feel. Focus a little bit more on the winds. But also, this is called orographic lifting. That's one way that you can form precipitation. That's a drive of a colder wind up the mountains that condenses into some sort of snow. So we will have a chance for a little bit of snow up in the high country. As far as how much rain we're going to see overall, I think up to an inch is pretty much a good estimation. So in the near term, we have one rain chance. Temperatures mainly in the upper 50s. One day that stands out, lower to the mid 60s this coming Sunday. So great weather if you go into the Panthers game. Hopefully we're forecasting a W. A slight cool down to 50 on Monday, but then after that, on the way up, we're actually expecting temperatures to reach the upper 60s a couple of times either side of Christmas. I'll have that extended forecast as well as that windier forecast for Friday coming up here shortly. But the right now is This Morning Commute with Becca Birdsall. What's going on?
Some good news to report on that crash on I-85 South at I-45. This is right on the Cabarrus-Mecklenburg County line. Well, that crash has officially now moved into the median. That means all lanes of traffic are now back open, but it is still pretty slow out there. Delays only continue to grow, still about 5.5 miles. Concord Parkway would be your best alternate route, especially if you're coming from Cabarrus or Rowan County inbound into Mecklenburg. Lots of red out there, so allow yourself plenty of extra time. We have about 16 active incidents across the greater Charlotte area, including this one. This is going to be on Pineville Matthews Road, heading eastbound at Providence Road. York County looking slow on those northbound lanes, especially if you are coming from York inbound into Mecklenburg County. Otherwise, not looking at any crashes right now as you head out into Mecklenburg County. Matthews to Uptown will take about 28 minutes. Salisbury, 81. Waxhaw, 39. And Belmont, 24 minutes.
A measles outbreak in South Carolina has doctors sounding the alarm. What parents can do to keep babies safe during the busy holiday season. 7:41 right now on WCNC Plus. With a measles outbreak in the upstate of South Carolina, it's crucial to protect young ones who are at a higher risk of the disease.
Peyton Furtado has advice from medical professionals on how to protect babies who are too young to be vaccinated during the busy holiday season.
And our babies just don't have the immune system yet to fight those things off.
While the CDC recommends babies be vaccinated for the measles between 12 and 15 months, pediatric nurse practitioner Amy Rush works in Inman and says parents are asking if they can vaccinate sooner.
Fairly frequently right now, actually, just because our parents are nervous, our families are nervous about this outbreak.
It definitely fuels anxiety.
Kate Franklin lives in Duncan and has 3 kids, including a 3-month-old baby, too young to be vaccinated. With so many of the measles exposures in public schools, she worries even when her baby has the sniffles.
I'm up every couple hours with her and checking on her and putting your hand over her chest and checking on her all the time. And I think, when you think about the bigger picture of them getting even more sick and possibly being admitted to the hospital and all that can bring, you don't ever want to see your kid have to go through that.
With their developing immune systems and inability to get the vaccine, Rush says babies are the most susceptible to the measles.
And so that's why when babies get sick, we take it really seriously.
And nurses say around the holidays, we typically see an uptick in sickness.
It really does make you have to think about, okay, do I stand in the back? Do I kind of keep her away from all these other friends and family members because, there's just no telling what they've been exposed to and how long that's been lingering around.
The best way to protect your babies, we're told, keep them away from large crowds. The measles vaccine is 93% effective at 1 dose and 97% at 2, according to doctors. So get them vaccinated when your doctor recommends. Until then,
we want to make sure that everyone around them, family members, caregivers, people in the community are vaccinated, because we really rely on that to keep our littlest, most vulnerable population protected.
It looks like measles aren't the only respiratory illness climbing across the country. Doctors say a new flu variant called subclade K is driving most of the infections. Some states already seeing high levels of flu, and experts warn numbers could rise everywhere in the next few months.
Whether we're simply seeing more cases because this clade K influenza virus is evading immunity and therefore more people are susceptible to infection, or if it's really causing more severe disease on a case-by-case basis.
Health officials stress vaccination still the best way to protect against severe illness. And with holiday travel and gatherings underway, they say it's not too late to roll up your sleeve.
A voluntary recall in effect for some Shokur brand holiday barks sold at Aldi stores nationwide. According to the FDA, the 5-ounce bags may contain undeclared nuts or wheat, which could cause serious or even life-threatening reactions if those with allergies eat them. That recall was announced in November after Silvestri Sweets discovered some of its barks were packaged incorrectly. Consumers are urged to throw the product away or return it to the store for a refund. So far, no illnesses have been reported. Today in history is significant to North Carolinians. Can you guess what happened 122 years ago at Kill Devil Hills that changed aviation forever? 7:47 now. This weekend marks an important turning point in our calendar and in our daylight.
That's right. Meteorologist Becca Birdsall raised our weather IQ on the winter solstice.
This weekend, we officially welcome winter with the winter solstice at 10:03 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, December 21st. This marks the shortest day and longest night of the entire year. The Earth is tilted about 23.5 degrees on its axis. Right now, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, meaning the sun takes its lowest and shortest path across the sky all year long. In Charlotte, our earliest sunset already happened back on December 7th, where the sun set at 5:10 p.m. While sunsets have been holding steady and technically getting a few minutes later, sunrises have continued getting later each morning. That later sunrise is what causes our total daylight to keep shrinking right up until the solstice. By the time we reach the winter solstice this weekend, Charlotte will have just 9 hours and 46 minutes of daylight, the least we'll see all year. Here's the good news. Starting the day after the solstice, we begin gaining daylight. At first, it's only a few seconds per day, but by late January, we'll be adding noticeable minutes of afternoon sunshine. One last note, even though daylight starts increasing, our coldest weather usually comes later in January and February due to something called seasonal lag, when the Earth continues to lose more heat than it gains. So yes, winter may be just beginning, but the slow return of longer days starts immediately after the solstice. With the Weather Impact Team, I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall.
And oddly, for the first day of winter, it doesn't feel like winter. It has been an interesting December, to say the least, because we felt more like January in the first part of December, and now as we get closer to the first day of winter, it's almost feeling more like November. Do you know what? That's okay. At least it averages out to December, right? So the pick of the week is this coming Sunday and for the first day of winter, and I think we even have better days once we get closer to Christmas. So yeah, dreaming of a white Christmas, you're going to have to even go to a different country because it doesn't even look likely here across much of the United States. Now, our sunsets have continued to get later, just as early as I think it was on December 10th that we started increasing these. So for the first day of winter, 5:15 is going to be the time. December 25th, Christmas, our sunset time at 5:17. Good news is by the end of the month, end of the year, so about 2 weeks from now, 5:21. So these continue to get later and later. As far as our sunrise time, it levels out around 7:32. That's going to be our latest time before that starts getting a little bit earlier. Of course, we have spring forward that kind of messes with that, but at least we know for sure as far as that sunset time, it's getting later and later and later going forward, and especially once you get to spring forward. Here's our surface map. Now, what you were just looking at right there was where our wet weather is coming from. It is a strong cold front that's going to provide the lake effect snow machine to be turned on off towards the north. A little bit of snow is also possible on Friday morning, and that is also going to be associated with a lot of winds as well. So our Friday, we have wind gusts that are going to be strong. We're talking about gusts up to about 30 miles per hour for the Piedmont and the Charlotte area. That means large branches are going to be in motion, and it will make it feel cooler as we work our way through the day as well. So our mountain wind gusts could be as high as 50 plus miles per hour. So I think we're nearing wind advisory criteria for your Friday morning and Friday afternoon. I froze it right here around 4 a.m. So if you have any branches near your window, it might be tapping on the window pane. And then once you get to the afternoon, still going to be pretty gusty, still seeing those gusts up to 50 miles per hour as well. So again, the National Weather Service will likely be issuing one of those. I want to talk about our wind chills though. Check it out where they're going. So here, let me rewind. So this is Friday morning. You have a wind chill right around 56 degrees. Should be fairly mild to start off the day, but it's 21 up in the mountains. And then once you get to the afternoon, it feels like 9 degrees in Boone, 44 in Charlotte. So this is another day that actually gets cooler throughout the day, not as drastic as what we had over the weekend on Saturday. And then by right around midnight, that's where we're going to hit our low for your Friday, feeling like freezing, and 12 degrees around Boone. And then the winds will start to get a little bit lighter, and then it's a little bit milder there afterwards. So looking at our extended 10-day forecast, all is well across the area for the most part, besides that one little situation that we're dealing with tomorrow as far as that rain is concerned. I really like where things are going for the Christmas holiday, though. Check it out. Christmas Eve, 67, 65 for Christmas Day, 67 the day afterwards if you have to return anything. So that's going to be the warmest stretch that we have. So yeah, almost a negative chance of a white Christmas this year. Enjoy those warmer temperatures. It has been a backwards month, but I'm not complaining about it. Let's see if there's any complaints in the traffic world with Becca.
Couple of complaints to let you know of. This one is going to be over towards York County. I-77 northbound is always slow this time of day. Exactly what we're seeing on our traffic cam at Gold Hill Road. And then want to give you an update to that earlier crash, Cabarrus-Mecklenburg County line, I-85 south at I-45. That has completely moved to the shoulder and the median there. So all lanes of traffic are back open. But this is by far the biggest slowdown of the morning if you're coming from Rowan or Cabarrus County inbound into Mecklenburg. Delays extend 6 miles. So even though all lanes of traffic are still open, we still have emergency vehicles in the median. It is still slowing traffic down quite a bit. Concord Parkway would be your best workaround. Zooming out, lots of red out there. Allow yourself plenty of extra time as you hit the roadways. Want to get to this new crash that I'm looking at just south of Uptown. This is on Spruce Street. Crash being reported at I-77 right at that exit at 9B. And then this other one going to be North Charlotte, Old Statesville Road near Independence Hill.
7:53 right now. It's that time of the morning. Time to check in with Ginger, our elf on the shelf. And this morning, she's got company. And I'm not sure about who this company is. Lisa?
Oh, I know who that is.
Who is this?
That's Heidi.
Who's Heidi?
Heidi is the elf who should be at Lisa's house watching Lisa's kids. But is she there? No, she's here playing bingo.
Heidi. For one, nice to meet you. Nice to have you.
No, it's not.
Two, get back to work. You got work to do. Got to report back to the big man up at the North Pole. Of course, it's always nice to check in on our elf, Ginger, all her friends. You've got some of her friends as well that visit you every holiday season. Here's a look at some of them hanging out, keeping a close eye on everybody in the family.
No, one broke a TV.
I know.
I was
not
trying to
good
figure
news.
out. I see that. And then what's the one on the left's doing?
Is that Connect 4?
I don't think so. Looks like one of those red light therapy lights.
I mean, here's the thing. You never know what these elves are up to.
That is true.
Just like Heidi.
Mystery.
Who knew?
Heidi. Goodness. All right, folks, we want to see what your elf's up to. Text us 704-329-3600.
A special anniversary for North Carolina's Day. It is Wright Brothers Day.
That's right. Today marks 122 years since Orville and Wilbur Wright had their first flight over at Kill Devil Hills, commemorating their first successful flight in a heavier-than-air, mechanically propelled airplane. After years of trying out gliders, they flew the aircraft for 12 seconds above the sand dunes. Their major breakthrough that day was the discovery of the 3-axis control, which remains a fundamental basic in flight all this time later. First in flight. We should put that on a license plate.
You think?
Ooh, good idea.
Oh, wait.
That would really
Maybe.
take off.
Really? See, there you go.
So a little side story. So one of the markets that I worked in was Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, here we go.
And wow, they have a battle going on because the Wright brothers were from that area.
They're from there,
So
but
they want to claim that.
They claim it.
They do.
Because they were experimenting there. They were coming up with their first wind turbines and
Yes.
stuff like that, but the first flight was truly North Carolina. So I sided with North Carolina. I just kept my mouth shut when I was in Ohio because it was a hot button.
It's a huge thing there.
They probably claim barbecue too.
See, you're starting it. You're starting it.
Those Ohioans.
OH.
All right. Live pictures over Uptown, 35 degrees right now. We're back after this on WCNC Plus.
Well, our newest development in the weather world is that heavy rain is more possible than it was even yesterday across the board. Windier Friday. Right now, we're just seeing some of those clouds increase for the day. And then our next big chance for rain will be followed by actually a big warm up heading into your Sunday. So that's some really good news going forward. Today, high temperatures going to be right around that 60-degree point. But I want to show you that extended forecast that I just had up on the screen. It is going to be actually warmer for Christmas Day in either side thereof compared to what we have over the next few. Now, I'm not complaining about 59 because 59 is still warmer than the average of 55 that we have in the near term. Only one chance for rain over the next 10 on Thursday. All right, Becca, what do you have to talk about?
It's busy out there, including this spot. This is going to be York County, I-77, especially approaching Mecklenburg County. Anticipate those normal slowdowns. And then still this one, probably the biggest problem spot of all, I-85 at I-45. Do have a crash on those southbound lanes on 85. This is right on the Mecklenburg-Cabarrus County line. Delays extending 6 miles. Take Concord Parkway instead.
Streaming live right now on WCNC Plus at 8 a.m. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start off this half hour with a check on your forecast on this Wednesday morning. Here's the thing. It's not as bad here as it has been the past 2 days. And in the mountains, surprisingly, at least for us, Chris, it's even warmer than it is here in Charlotte.
Yeah, no, it's been wacky because earlier in the newscast, you can say, well, of course it's cold in the mountains. This is the one time that does not apply. That when I first got into work, I'm like, oh, wow. What's going on here? Two things. Actually, not trying to get too meteorological on you, but number one, cloud cover. They've had a majority cloud cover here in the mountains. You all have had that for most of the overnight. So that didn't really allow a lot of that heat to escape. But we also have something that's called warm air advection. So that's the horizontal transport of warmer air. And oftentimes, have you ever noticed that sometimes you're skiing, that the top of the mountain is almost warm where you can take your jacket off and then the bottom's a little bit colder? That's warm air advection. So they are dealing with that as well. So that's a really nice anomaly to have and perfect for skiing. Soon we're going to be almost too warm for skiing. Not great for snowmaking going forward. But right now we do have that profile for much of the area. 29 degrees around Hickory, 35 degrees around Charlotte. This is still much better than where we have been. 29 degrees was the temperature at 8:01 yesterday. 35 is fantastic right now. Bus stop goers, we already completed the 7 o'clock hour, but we'll be hovering right around, I think the upper 30s will start to warm up at this point over the next hour or so, then up to about 41 degrees. The biggest problem I have is the cloud cover compared to yesterday. Yesterday we had wall-to-wall blue sky, not a worry in the world. Today we're already increasing those clouds, so it will stunt or warm up slightly, but we're also shifting those winds out of the warmer direction, so that's still going to allow us to get to around 60 degrees. I kept us at 59, but I think some of us could hit that 6-0 mark briefly later on this afternoon. Clouds sticking around is also great for the evening because when the sun sets, we don't lose that heat right away. It's the clear skies and the calm winds that maximize our cool down. We don't have that, so we're still rocking the mid 40s, so that's actually perfect for walking around, say, checking out the McAdenville lights. I know a lot of us are in the cars, but I highly recommend it. If you have any way, if you know somebody or you can park nearby, walking around McAdenville maximizes the experience, so do it, do it. We're looking at 40 degrees overnight tonight, 58 by tomorrow with widespread rain, and then sunshine's back in action for your Friday. And then we're going to have an evolution beyond that. But let's get right to it. So here's what it looks like, and I'm going to bring you hour by hour through all the rain chances, and then I'll show you that 7-day forecast. We have that cloud cover that's going to be broken at times, still allowing for some intermittent sunshine throughout today. The rain first arrives tomorrow right around sunrise, and I think this is going to be pulse number 1. That'll arrive really about the middle of the morning. We could hit a break, and then we start to see on and off rain, on and off rain. Better chance of staying dry around lunchtime. And then once it starts raining early to mid-afternoon, for some of us, it's going to continue raining for several hours, and it will be heavy at times. So I think we see up to an inch when this is all said and done. Final hurrah will be this dying area of rain along the actual frontal boundary heading into the early morning hours, and even a chance for a brief snow for the mountains. Yikes. But we are also looking at some big changes for your Friday. I'll put the weather bookmark right here for the time being. So upcoming, I'm going to show you the changes in the Friday, your weekend forecast, your Christmas forecast, and that 10-day forecast. But first, let's see how our morning commute starting off the 8 o'clock hour. Becca, take it away.
Slow is going to be the word of choice for Cabarrus County. Still, this issue lingers I-85 at Bruton Smith Boulevard due to a crash. It's a little bit further south. This is going to be over towards that I-485 area. So right now, all lanes of traffic are open, but because we do still have those emergency vehicles on the shoulder, it is absolutely crawling. Basically, from I-485 right near the Charlotte area, extending all the way over towards Poplar 10. That is a delay of over 6 miles. Concord Parkway would be your best alternate route. I'm looking at around 20 active incidents across the greater Charlotte area, including this one. This is causing a stretch of delays, especially on the northbound lanes of Pineville-Matthews Road right now, right at Providence. We'll add several extra minutes to that morning commute. North Charlotte, Old Statesville Road, a crash being reported near Independence Hill Road. Matthews to Uptown on Independence will take about 29 minutes. Salisbury, 76 minutes. That's over an hour. Waxhaw, 39, and Belmont, 24.
Becca, thank you. 8:04, and now to some breaking news in northwest Charlotte, where Charlotte fire crews are battling a fire at a mobile home on Forest Winds Lane. That's near Shopping Plaza on Mount Holly, Huntersville Road. The fire department has not shared any other information about this fire. We have a crew heading to that scene. We'll give you an update as soon as we learn more information.
Newly released 911 calls are shedding light on this month's light rail stabbing in Noda. Police arrested this man right here, Oscar Solorzano, for that December 5th attack along North Brevard Street at East 25th. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live there this morning detailing the moment frightened passengers called for help. Destiny.
Yeah, these 911 calls really reveal the panic that was just ensuing in the light rail moments after this stabbing, and also passengers' desperate efforts to keep the victim alive. Now, in those calls, you hear passengers describing a chaotic scene as they try to help 24-year-old Kenyon Doby, who had just been stabbed in the chest. Callers tell dispatchers they're applying pressure to stop the bleeding and doing their best not to move him. They describe Doby as dizzy and disoriented, but still talking, with one caller staying on the line for several minutes, repeatedly telling him to stay awake. Take a listen.
Stay up, 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 stay up. Yeah. Ma'am, is the knife still in him? No, there's no knife in him, but he's like, you know, okay. And is the a little blood coming disoriented at the moment. That's okay. Is the blood coming through you gotta his stay jacket? still. Stay still. It could be, but again, we got a rag and like a jacket applying pressure. Okay, is the blood coming through that rag? I can't see the bag. I got something else on top of the bag. Hey, stay with me.
The stabbing suspect, Oscar Solorzano, is now facing charges in Mecklenburg County and federal court. And this is just one of many clips that we've been hearing, and we'll be sure to bring you more information on this incident and this case as it develops. I'll send it back to you guys live here from NODA.
And so, Destiny, we heard from the people in that call trying to help the victim, of course. Was there any mention, any calls about the suspect in this case?
Yeah, in the midst of kind of the chaos that you're hearing, that was what we heard in a lot of the initial clips that we've been listening to. There is one where the dispatcher is asking, is the assailant still there? And one of the caller that is on the other end of the line is distracted at first, but then says, no, he's not here anymore. So obviously the suspect was taken into custody, but what you hear from most of this is just their efforts with the victim, describing the scene that they're seeing. But there is a moment where they say that Oscar Solorzano was no longer there.
All right. Thanks, Destiny.
You'll remember authorities say Solorzano was in the country illegally and had been previously deported. We spoke with Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden here on WCNC Plus yesterday, and we asked who's responsible for allowing Solorzano to be in the country and carry out the attack he's accused of.
DHS. Homeland Security should be held accountable. This is what they done. This is when they deported him twice, they allowed him to leave the United States without being adjudicated for the current charges that he was charged with. They deported him. This is a failure in the system. Now, they probably will try to correct it now by criminally charging him, but that's a failure in their system. So simply coming together with law enforcement, having these conversations, allowing us in law enforcement to show you some of these gaps would be helpful.
You can watch that full interview right here on WCNC Plus.
Following the murder of Charlotte mother Frazier Baker, her family and friends held a balloon release over the weekend to honor her memory.
It's a common way that family and friends remember loved ones. We often tell you about it here on the news, but we actually received emails from a number of viewers asking if these are legal, talking about how these balloons can end up impacting the environment. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies what you need to know.
Our sources to answer this, the North Carolina General Assembly and nonprofit Balloon Mission. NC Senate Bill 20 would prohibit certain mass balloon releases. It passed its first reading on January 30th of this year, but is currently stalled despite it saying the rules would be enacted on October 1st. If the bill does eventually pass, it would be against the law for anyone to organize or participate in a balloon release. There would also be a $250 fine for intentional releases. According to Balloon Mission, 11 states have already passed a no balloon release ban, while 17 states introduced bills in 2025. This includes North and South Carolina.
Megan Bragg reporting for us there. Cities and towns can also make their own laws.
This morning, all 12 firefighters who were injured in a home explosion in Salisbury are now out of the hospital. Authorities are still trying to figure out how that home they were responding to caught fire and what caused the following blast. Neighbors told us bricks flew into their homes and the sound was deafening. That incident left 2 people inside the home hurt and 2 dogs died. The family is being helped by the Red Cross. This morning, CMPD is looking into what caused the death of a young person in East Charlotte. Investigators say they responded to a call for service on Gwen Hill Road yesterday morning. That's by Harrisburg and Albemarle roads. When police arrived, they found a minor who wasn't breathing. That person died at the hospital. If you know anything about the death, call Crime Stoppers. Before we head to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, every year millions of suitcases are lost. Maybe it's happened to you. It's the worst. And that's because the airlines lose a lot of luggage, but also people take the wrong suitcase home because they all look the same. That will not happen to you with Mirage luggage. You can see the bold, unique designs, unmistakable, but that's just the start of this. The exterior is durable and high quality, so this will not get damaged in transit. Plus, here are some other features that I love. This 3-dial combination lock will keep your item secure. It also has this smooth push-button telescopic handle and 4 heavy-duty spinner wheels that give you 360-degree movement. Plus, They are specially designed and engineered to glide gracefully over any surface. So you won't be walking through the airport anymore with that old suitcase you have on two wheels. You have Mirage now. But by the way, something else I want to show you. These heavy-duty zippers come on in here. If you're anything like me, you pack your suitcase to the gills. This will keep you protected. And inside, the smooth mesh design gives you smart organization. Plus, if you have a lack of space at home, this three-piece set, they nest. So you only have room for the big luggage. You are all good. Plus, check out all these extra colors and prints. No matter your style, there's a design for you. Huge deal today. Normally $399.99 for the three-piece set. Today, just $139.99, 65% off. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
$8:14 right now on WCNC Plus. Many Americans say it is now harder than it used to be to pay for things like groceries and holiday gifts. Bank of America numbers show many low and middle income paychecks aren't keeping up with inflation, something you probably already knew yourself. New economic reports delve deeper into the affordability issue, and Amy Kiley reports they come as the president prepares to address the nation tonight.
2026 is going to be a bountiful year.
The Trump administration is promising a happy new year for affordability ahead of the president's primetime address tonight. The White House says he'll look back on 2025 and look ahead to 2026. Economists and fresh data paint a complicated picture of affordability. A new report shows retail sales were flat between September and October.
Affordability is certainly an issue, but when you have higher income earners, it's going to be less sensitive for them.
A report out yesterday shows the unemployment rate hit a 4-year high last month.
We are in this sort of no hire, no fire type of market.
It also indicates the economy lost 105,000 jobs in October and gained 64,000 last month.
Over the last 6 months, there's been essentially no job growth. And there's 3 reasons for that: immigration, DOGE, and tariffs.
Another part of affordability is the cost of goods. Tomorrow's Consumer Price Index update will give insight into that. Statistics show CPI growth was easing for the first few months of the year.
Then what happened is you saw the president come into office and ignite the most inflationary policies in our lifetimes with these tariffs.
As for the GDP,
as we go into 2026, I'm still pretty optimistic.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The oil market is taking another hit. U.S. crude prices dropped to just over $55 a barrel. That's the lowest since early 2021. Brent crude, the global benchmark, is also sliding toward a multi-year low. Analysts say a possible peace deal between Russia and Ukraine could add to the excess supply. For U.S. drivers, it means cheaper gas, with prices expected to dip to around $2.80 a gallon by Christmas. That's next week. According to AAA, right now in North Carolina, the average price is $2.71 a gallon. In South Carolina, it's even less, $2.60 per gallon.
After strong backlash over high prices, FIFA has added lower price tickets for next year's World Cup. However, these tickets are only for fans of the participating teams and not the general public.
The new tier offers 1,000 limited $60 tickets for each of the 104 matches. One fan organization says the price revision is too limited and doesn't address the issues of supporters with disabilities. FIFA says altogether it has already received 20 million ticket requests in the newest phase of sales. It's also the first since the World Cup draw.
8:17 right now. Oreo sweetening the season with a big comeback. The cookie dough Oreo returns, and it's just the start of 9 new treats rolling out in the next few weeks.
Welcome back, everyone, and thanks as always for joining us on WCNC Plus. Over the next 10 days, there is one day it's going to rain, and that's coming Thursday. So I do want to divulge a funny story. My friends and I haven't gone golfing in a while, and 2 weeks ago I was like, yeah, we'll go on this Thursday. It was the only time that worked out. Of course, it's the only day that I'm going to be going golfing, so if anyone's doing that as well, it's going to be some really slow greens. Then after that, it's just flat line to the none, the zero chance for rain after that. And also because of the chance for rain, it's going to drive in some warmer air followed by a big cool down. That's why the morning low is starting off in the 50s, but realistically, by about midnight heading into Saturday, we're already going to be down in the 30s. So the actual low for Friday isn't hit until later on in the evening. After that, we're closer to freezing to just above, and then heading towards Christmas Eve. The days following, lows only in the mid 40s, which is incredible considering that this past Monday, we only had a high of 38 degrees. So over the next 10 days, check this out. This is a lot of data, but we'll go through it slowly. The only chance it's going to rain Friday. Thursday, excuse me. Friday, I was getting ahead of myself. Friday also looks to be the windiest day, where we're going to have some wind gusts up to 30, gusts to 50 plus in the mountains. That's also going to be wind chilly by the end of the day. So if you have any outdoor plans, just like I plan to go to Carowinds for Winterfest. So I'm really on a roll here for this week for picking outdoor plans. And then for your Saturday, well, the Ascent game looks like it's going to be sunny, and it looks like an inside for the Checkers is going to be great for that. And if you're going to the Panthers game, lucky you. Not only are you potentially going to see us take the lead in the division, but you have a mix of clouds and sunshine, highs in the lower 60s. We'll see a little downgrade in our temperatures, a little dip on Monday, but then once you get to the Christmas holiday, mid to the upper 60s for the 24th to the 26th. What I think is most interesting is it's not just us. A majority of the United States, you don't always see this for this time of year, has a chance for above average temperatures. The only cool spot, if we want to call it that, chance for below normal temperatures for Maine and New England. So yeah, no white Christmas, at least for this year. There's always next year, that's what we always say. We have a special treat today. Becca's here with us with our morning commute. How's it going?
All right, still that one problem spot that I am still monitoring. This is going to be on I-85 and near I-45, but you're looking at the extensive backups over towards Bruton Smith. It is absolutely crawling. You will definitely want to avoid this area as it is gridlocked. Basically from I-45 all the way over towards Poplar Tent, all lanes of traffic are still open, but we have those emergency vehicles from that earlier crash on the shoulder. That is what is causing those delays. Take Concord Parkway instead. In the meantime, still monitoring several other incidents out there. The newest one on the board is going to be over towards West Charlotte. That is Wilkinson Boulevard. Got a crash being reported at Sam Wilson. And then this crash just cleared. That was Spruce Street right at I-77. Drive times Matthews to Charlotte still about 28 minutes. Salisbury has actually gone down 71 minutes now from 76. Waxhaw 39 and Belmont 24.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Wednesday and time for today's Tiny Town. We take you into South Carolina. Just south of the town of Florence is Coward. That's right. That's the name, Coward, a quaint little place not too far from the Myrtle Beach area. Population of Coward is 748, a little over 3.5 square miles as far as territory. A nice spot to visit. Now, what about the name Coward? Where did it come from? Well, one idea is it was named after a local landowner by the name of Solomon Coward, or possibly after Colonel Asbury Coward, Commandant of the South Carolina Military Academy. One of those two people could have been the reason we see the name Coward attached to today's tiny town in South Carolina. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
All right, Larry, thanks so much. Well, a fan favorite Oreo flavor is making a comeback. 10 years after it first hit store shelves, Oreo announced the cookie dough Oreo will return for a limited time starting very soon, December 22nd.
I didn't know this was a thing, and it sounds delicious.
I didn't either.
This time around, the cookie will feature chocolate chip cookies instead of the traditional chocolate Oreo wafers. The return comes as Oreo rolls out 9 new products over the next few weeks. Among the new offerings, Oreo's Reese's cookies.
Now that sounds really good.
Oreo muffins, Oreo cakesters, and Oreo thins ganache.
Oof.
The Reese's.
I know,
and
right?
the cookie dough, honestly. I don't know about the muffins.
I don't know about the muffins.
These are much better flavors than recent days, I will say.
That's very true.
We had zero sugar Oreo. Remember a few weeks ago?
We never did.
That one's coming out?
I've never seen them. I wanted to try them, actually.
No, I'll take the Reese's.
Yeah, me too, 100%.
And there's nothing wrong with just the original double stuff.
Or the thin, because you could eat more and not feel as guilty.
There's mega stuff now, too. Like, there's so many degrees of stuffed Oreos.
Which brings up the question, is there too much of a good thing, really?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
There's too many options.
8:25 right now on WCNC Plus live pictures over Uptown, 35 degrees as you step out the door. Feels kind of nice after the last 2 mornings. Keep it right here. We're back after this.
Hello, good to see you. I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy. 58, 59. That's going to be our high temperature from Hickory over to the Charlotte area. Some of us popping into the lower 60s. We're increasing that cloud cover right now, but we'll see some breaks in the clouds on and off throughout the day. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has things all over the place, but we are overall above normal. Our only chance for rain, the one and only, is tomorrow, and it starts as early as around sunrise. On and off rain expected, especially starting in the middle of the afternoon, heading through the evening. So there will be some dry spots, but just anticipate rain for most of the day. Sunshine back in action for your Friday, but Friday temperatures tumbling throughout the day, and it will be wind chilly at times with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. My pick of the week, Sunday, lower to the mid 60s, which is also the first day of winter. What do you know? All right, Becca, what's going on for our morning commute?
It has been a busy rush hour commute so far. Still more red out there than green, so allow yourself plenty of extra time as you hit the roads. Live look from York County, I-77 at Gold Hill, running slow typically on those northbound lanes. Exactly what we're seeing now on those live cameras, but the biggest slowdown going to be on that Cabarrus-Mecklenburg County line due to an earlier crash. You're seeing the backups from that on I-85 southbound at Bruton Smith. This is causing 6 miles of delays.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
We want to get back to that breaking news we've been telling you about in northwest Charlotte, where fire crews are battling a fire at a mobile home on Forest Winds Lane. These are some live pictures right now from our crew on the scene. We know this area is near a shopping plaza on Mount Holly, Huntersville Road. You can see firefighters there still trying to put out some of the smoke and flames there. Again, this happening this morning. The fire department has not shared any information, no details as of yet. Unfortunately, we just lost our shot there, but we'll continue to follow this, and as we get information, we'll of course pass it along to you.
Now to some new details in the rape case against the now former co-owner of one of Charlotte's biggest breweries.
Investigators say Justin Brigham, who founded Sycamore Brewing, used Snapchat to communicate with the 13-year-old girl he's accused of raping. This story highlights a difficult topic. A psychologist tells WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley it's important to know how children process trauma.
Business has been slow here at Sycamore Brewing ever since the news broke about now former co-owner Justin Brigham, who's accused of raping a child. Psychologists say these incidents can have psychological impacts on children.
Watch your surroundings, don't talk to strangers.
Diana McCalla, a grandmother of two, fears for the well-being of the 13-year-old authorities say Brigham raped last week.
I could just imagine the fear, you know, it's like they'd be scared to go to talk to people.
In this situation, everybody needs therapy, and possibly it may have to occur for a while.
Clinical counselor and health psychologist Nanette Funderburk says the impacts of sexual abuse can be different for every person.
Age absolutely makes a difference because there is incomplete brain development there. The perception of things and the way things play out can be extremely impactful to a child.
Funderburk says sexual abuse can also cause children to struggle in school or relationships. She says it's important for parents to know what steps to take to prevent their children from becoming victims.
You can let your children know if you feel uncomfortable in a situation, let me know or let a responsible adult know immediately. And you may even want to come up with a code word.
Funderburk says it's also important for children to know that their parents are going to believe them if they tell an adult they were sexually abused.
And I was a bus driver, years ago, and it did happen to one of the girls, and she just wouldn't open up at all.
And Funderburk says other psychological impacts include PTSD, trust issues, and changes in behavior. In South End, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
Meanwhile, bars and restaurants across the Carolinas continue to grapple with how to move forward with their partnerships with Sycamore. Some have pulled the products from their shelves, while others now say they are redirecting money they make from any Sycamore product sales. Some have told us they will be donating proceeds to nonprofits that help those who've experienced sexual assault.
So we're really proud to be able to offer these services to survivors absolutely for free, and understanding that with the donations from the community that they are supporting survivors being able to heal through their efforts.
Nonprofits tell us every dollar makes a difference, helping them expand services and reach more people.
The medical examiner revealing more about the death of an inmate found unresponsive at the Mecklenburg County Jail last month. An autopsy reveals that 51-year-old Sandy Hill died of natural causes. We first reported last month Hill was discovered November 1st. Authorities say they took her to the hospital where she died. Bond now set for a Gastonia woman accused in a deadly hit and run. 36-year-old Laketta English made her first court appearance Tuesday, charged in an October crash on Garrison Boulevard that killed 30-year-old Cody Cochran and injured another. A judge set her bond at $500,000. Prosecutors say that high bond is justified because English, they say, hid her vehicle and tried to fix it after the crash.
Shortly after the collision, she booked an appointment with Safelite Auto Glass to replace a front windshield. That had taken place prior to the Gastonia police getting to the car.
This is an active, ongoing investigation. If you have any information, contact Gastonia Police. Folks in Concord reflecting on a somber milestone. It has now been 5 years since a police officer was killed in a shooting near Concord Mills. The police department honoring Officer Jason Shuping yesterday. The department saying on Facebook they will never forget his service. Shuping was just 25 years old.
Well, good morning, everybody. So your weekend forecast, just jumping ahead, we have sunshine for your Saturday, and on Sunday, temperatures in the lower to the mid 60s. What I think is most interesting about this is that we literally are having our warmest day of December for what is the first day of winter. So yeah, kind of a backwards forecast that we have going there. As far as our temperatures this morning, very mild compared to where we have been. 29 degrees is the temperature at this point yesterday, 35 is where we're at right now for 8:35 in the morning. Elsewhere, it's actually been warmer in the mountains compared to what we have in the Charlotte area, and it's all because of that cloud cover. That cloud cover is really now taking over, and expect really a mostly cloudy to a partly sunny day overall. You can still see the sunshine here, but we're dealing a lot with those thicker overcast skies. So it's really more of those cirrocumulus to cirrostratus clouds that are out and about there right now that are going to blanket our skies much of the day. But we are going to see a slight little clearing a little bit later on in the afternoon briefly. So our high temperatures today are going to be right around 60 degrees, but the biggest deal we have is our rain for tomorrow. So that's going to be the weather highlighter of the week. Just going to be mainly on and off rain, so we're not going weather alert for this. This is just something that is going to be a cold rain at times because temperatures are mainly going to be in the 50s. But here's how we get there. time at 2 p.m. At that point, I think it's really the early to mid-afternoon is our best chance to see more blue sky instead of more of these upper-level clouds, making the sky kind of look that milky white. And then by the evening, those clouds are going to move back in, and that cloud cover is also going to keep us on the milder edge, likely only falling either side of 40 degrees by tomorrow morning around sunrise. And speaking of, it's right around that time that we're going to see our first signs of rain, or at least it might even feel like it's going to rain. So we're going to have constant pulses of rain. Here's pulse number 1. Pulse number 2 arrives a little bit close to the afternoon. I think our best chance for really the window of opportunity to stay dry, the way things are trending, is late morning to the early afternoon. Once you get to the middle of the afternoon, this is 2 o'clock, and then watch, 4 o'clock. That's where we have most of the map that's covered up with the rain. The rain is even going to be heavy at times, but especially mid-afternoon to about the middle of the evening, that's where rain is going to be most persistent and consistent, even going to be heavy at times. And then once we get to the early morning hours, that's going to be the final push of the rain. And then once the cold front starts to pass, that's going to drive even a brief chance for snow right along the Tennessee border up in the high country. I think at most it's a brief dusting of snow. And then behind that, the winds are going to pick up, gusts as high as 50 in the mountains, up to 30 miles per hour for your Friday. So Friday's going to be wind chilly. That high of 59 is likely in the morning. Then temperatures tumble, especially later on in the day, and likely hitting our low right around midnight. So we're going to start off freezing on Saturday, but as I already mentioned, winter is beginning warm. We'll see fluctuating temperatures heading into the first days of next week, and then once you get to around Christmas time, mid to the upper 60s. Just wow. I'll have that holiday forecast coming up, but first we have Becca telling you how our morning commute's behaving.
All right, I have an update on that big crash that we had earlier. This was on I-85 south at I-45, right on the Cabarrus-Mecklenburg County line. Well, that crash has cleared to the shoulder, but we were seeing those backups extend up to 6 miles. Well, now we have a stalled vehicle that was right in the center of that, now has just moved to the shoulder in the past minute, but this was causing, again, another stretch of delays in the exact same area where we were seeing the biggest problem spot this morning. Now still looking at red, especially if you're headed from Gaston inbound to Mecklenburg County, 85 northbound, with several incidents out there. Now this one just cleared. This was on Pineville Matthews Road at Providence Road. Still some minor slowdowns there from that leftover crash. And then this one, Old Statesville Road at Independence Hill Road, also still causing delays in both directions.
Billions of dollars in packages stolen each year by so-called porch pirates. But in one southern city, police say an attempted theft went terribly wrong and nearly turned deadly.
41 now. Every year, billions of dollars in merchandise are stolen by so-called porch pirates, thieves who snatch packages off doorsteps.
Well, police say an attempt gone awry in Atlanta almost proved fatal. NBC's Sam Brock brings us this one.
Across America, scenes like these play out thousands of times a day. But a recent attempt at porch piracy in Atlanta,
I think it's two people that have been shot,
nearly came with deadly consequences after police say two teenagers who acknowledged trying to steal freshly delivered packages were shot by a homeowner as they approached.
I heard outside a young man screaming for help.
Both are expected to survive, and the man has been charged with aggravated assaults and another felony. Just in the last few weeks, police investigating countless incidents of porch piracy, like the thief in this video arriving as the Amazon delivery person leaves, swiping a package literally 10 seconds later in Fort Worth.
I was home and about to open the door.
To a Kentucky bandit you see here, looking around before stuffing stolen goods into a pizza box. One report estimates 104 million packages were stolen in the last year. That comes out to a whopping 250,000 a day, costing Americans $15 billion. As for the cities hit the most, Chicago, New York, Miami, Houston, and Baltimore are the top 5. Experts advise giving specific delivery instructions for somewhere not visible from the street and using home cameras with lights or sirens. With a fresh reminder, the criminal act can be costly in more ways than one. Sam Brock, NBC News.
A new poll shows more than half of Americans plan to spend less on holiday gifts this year. About 55% say they'll cut back compared to last season. 9% expect to spend more, while a third say their budgets will stay the same. In a separate question, 43% said they plan to cut back on presents and on all Christmas spending this season. 57% say overall holiday expenditures will hold steady.
Some inmates across South Carolina spreading holiday joy to hundreds of the state's elderly. Prisoners are knitting blankets, hats, scarves, and even stuffed animals for residents living in long-term care facilities. A pair of state agencies, the Department of Corrections and Aging, working together on this effort.
And they volunteer so they can give back to the community. They take this thing with a lot of pride. And if you talk to them personally, you'll find out that I made that right there. If they see it on the news, they're going to say, that's mine right there, because they do that. And that's what, I mean, they're proud of what they're doing. And we're proud of them, to be honest with you.
For good reason. They'll end up delivering more than 1,400 handmade gifts. The idea for the project began during the pandemic and has since grown.
133 years ago today, an iconic magazine made its debut. We'll tell you how it has managed to stay relevant for more than a century.
And as we go to break, if you are struggling to get into the holiday spirit, we know just the thing. Every day this week at 9:30 p.m., we're going to be streaming Christmas parades around the Piedmont here on WCNC Plus. And that's just the beginning. Throughout the rest of the year, you can catch all of our holiday events anytime inside the WCNC Plus app. We've also just added a Yule log on demand for those wanting one of those. How about that? Just search it in the WCNC Plus streaming app.
8:47 now. Do you remember the last time Charlotte had snow on Christmas?
If you don't, that's because it's incredibly rare. Meteorologist Majestic Storm breaks down how often it happens and why it doesn't happen more in today's Weather IQ.
Well, it may feel festive this time of the year, but how often does Charlotte actually see snow on Christmas? It turns out it's not very often. Here in Charlotte, snow on Christmas is almost as rare as seeing Santa Claus himself. Since official weather records began in 1878, Charlotte only had measurable snowfall 4 times on Christmas Day. Those years were 1880, 1909, 1947, and 2010. Out of those 4, only 2 of them accumulated at least 1 inch of snow. And the year with the most snow on Christmas Day, it was 1947, when we accumulated 5.8 inches of snow. And the last time we saw any snow on Christmas Day, it was 15 years ago in 2010. Now, we only have a 3% chance of seeing Christmas snow in any given year. So overall here in Charlotte, while the chances aren't 0, it's incredibly low. So why is it so rare? To get snow on Christmas Day, we need 2 main things: cold air and moisture. But the catch is that we need it at the exact same time. And December in the Carolinas isn't very good at pulling off that combination. We're still early in the cold season, and the true Arctic air isn't consistently locked in yet. Without that deep cold, most December weather systems typically bring rain instead of snow in the city. Charlotte is actually 3 times more likely to see a 70-degree Christmas day than a snowy one. So while Charlotte can get snow on Christmas, history tells us that we might be better off just dreaming of that white Christmas instead. With your Weather IQ, I'm meteorologist Majestic Storm.
Thanks a lot, Majestic. Excellent job. And I'm happy to say areas in the magenta color right here get a not a chance. So sorry. No, that was mean. A 0% chance for snow, not just here, but areas that sometimes do get a better chance, like even the plain states, looking at well above normal temperatures. This is a crazy anomaly that the 6 to 10 day forecast, which goes from December 23rd to the 27th, showing this big of an above average trend. Now, up in the Dakotas, above average still means freezing. So there still could be an outside chance, but the way things are trending, not so much. Over the last 5 Christmases here in the Charlotte area, we've actually had 2 big extremes. It was back on 2022. We started off at 13 degrees. That is actually the second coldest low that we've had in Christmas history here in the Charlotte area, and that dates back to 1878. Meanwhile, the year before was actually the 4th warmest on record. As Majestic just said, it's only been 6 times in Charlotte history that we've reached 70 degrees plus. But what if I told you we have a outside shot of doing that this year? More so, I think it's mainly going to be the mid 60s. But hey, close enough. We're near 70 degrees on Christmas Eve. I have 67 right now. Now, this isn't even being shown on the 7-day forecast. So sometimes this could be that's not responsible for me to show you something this far out. But realistically, we've stayed in this range and things are trending warmer instead of cooler, even starting off at 45 degrees at both mornings. But all you need to know, at least the 60s are a guarantee the way it's looking for Christmas and Christmas Eve, and the mid to the upper 60s are trending in the right direction. So when it feels like, I showed you this on and off, especially to start off December, because we had a flat line feeling more like January most of those days. Well, I'm happy to say it's actually a little bit closer to late November and around Thanksgiving-like weather compared to where we should be in this time of December for the middle part. And then once you get to Sunday, it's more like mid-November, back to more January status on Monday, and then boom, look at that, Christmas feeling more like early November. Really puts in perspective about how rare this warm-up is, even though we have done it multiple times in the past. Our precipitation chances, only one day stands out from all the rest. That's this coming Thursday. That's the only day you need the umbrella. Outside of that, all is well. And as far as freezing temperatures, only one day. That's Saturday morning. Best chance of being below freezing. All the rest above freezing. So not a bad forecast, Becca. We both said that we'll take the warmer Christmas.
Yes, we will. And we are also looking at some calmer conditions out on the roads now. Starting to see traffic settle down just a little bit, but still it's gridlocked, especially if you're headed from Cabarrus inbound into Mecklenburg County. Still got several incidents out there. Biggest issue is going to be that earlier crash that did block that shoulder there. That is I-85 South near Bruton Smith. You can see how slow moving it is, but I will say traffic and those delays have really improved a lot. Still seeing delays if you're coming from Poplar Tent, but once you start to get a little bit closer inbound into Mecklenburg County, it is a little bit faster moving there. New crash being reported in East Charlotte. This is Briar Creek Road heading northbound. That is on the entry ramp from East Independence Boulevard. Seeing a stretch of orange there. In addition, over towards West Charlotte, do still have this active crash. That is Wilkinson Boulevard right at Sam Wilson Road. And then this last one is going to be at the Plaza over towards East Charlotte. Crash being reported at Vickery Drive.
Becca, thanks. Ginger the elf is back, and this morning she has a special friend. Take a look at this. They're just hanging out, playing bingo, having fun. That friend, though, is not supposed to be there.
Who is that friend?
That's Heidi. You don't know Heidi. You shouldn't know Heidi because Heidi should be watching Lisa's kids and at my house, but she's not. She's here hanging out with Ginger.
Just want to get out, see some friends. I get it.
Sure, why not? Well, thanks to all of you who have sent us pictures of your elves and the things they're getting into this holiday season. We love seeing them. Some of them actually sporting some holiday cheer. Others, I don't know, that broken TV does not look good. If you haven't already, please though, send us a picture of your elf. All you have to do is text us 704-329-3600.
Well, today marks the anniversary of the very first issue of Vogue magazine, published on December 17, 1892. Creator author Baldwin Turnsher launched it and looked into the ceremonial side of life during the Gilded Age.
Back then, families like the Vanderbilts and the Astors set the tone for high society. Vogue captured their glamorous lifestyles. The first cover featured a debutante, and the magazine quickly became a voice for fashion and culture. Condé Nast took over in 1905, shifting the focus to women's fashion and expanding worldwide. More than a century later, Vogue remains one of the most influential style magazines in the world. I don't subscribe, but anytime I have a chance to read it, I definitely pick it up and check it out.
I don't know if I ever picked up a Vogue magazine.
Really?
Yeah.
We can change that.
I'm probably not the target audience, but
I don't think I have either, but the covers are always very
yeah.
cool. If you
Amazing.
lay them out on
Beautiful,
the coffee
yeah.
table,
Yeah.
Yes.
pretty to look at.
and kudos to them, by the way. Magazine industry has
Still
struggled.
going
It's
strong
still
this long?
all this time. That's impressive.
Absolutely.
That one, Time, National Geographic, the only ones I really
That you
consistently
can
see at the
okay.
checkout.
You've got a subscription to Vogue.
Don't lie.
This month is really good. Just so you know.
Playing coy, Chris Mulcahy. All right, live pictures inside our Live Impact studio right now. Jane Monreal is getting ready to take over at the top of the hour. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
It was sunnier when the sun rose up, but now we have these thicker clouds out and about. I think it's especially going to be cloudier through this morning. We'll see a few breaks in some areas of blue sky, more so during the afternoon. High temperatures right around 60 degrees. Some of us missing out, some of us just barely getting into the lower 60s. And then those thicker clouds will really start to fill in the gaps overnight tonight. And that leads to our next chance for rain. We have a chance for rain really from sunrise to sunset and beyond for your Thursday. It's not going to be a complete washout, but we keep those rain chances around all day long. Friday, even though we have the sunshine, it will be a chilly day because it gets colder throughout the day. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, and then boom, back to lower to the mid 60s this coming Sunday, and even warmer right around Christmas, mid to the upper 60s from the 24th to the 26th. So maybe it has some Christmas magic already. Becca, take it away. What's going on?
All right, we are starting to see traffic look a lot better live. Look outside from York County, I-77 at Gold Hill. This northbound lane starting to see much less traffic, still a little bit slow as you head from York inbound into Mecklenburg County, but that should go away pretty soon. And still have a couple of issues out there. This one is going to be on Briar Creek Road northbound. It's on the entry ramp from East Independence Boulevard, causing a stretch of delays there.